Welcome to Hey Dad Podcast. Real dads, tough issues, and a genuine love for a fatherless generation. Hey, welcome. Today, your lucky day because you dialed into the Hey Dad podcast.
Yes.
And what we got here is Frank Lamelli on the far outside. Right here in the middle, Rick Rivera, and I'm Chris Lawler. We're all dads. We're all old timers. We all got the guts to prove it. And we have experience also. And our hearts have always been for this fatherless generation, because we know that a lot of you guys and girls are growing out without the influence of a caring and competent father. So that's why we created this podcast. And today, we're talking about all kinds of topics. But today, what's on our heart is heartbreak. You guys are young, you fall in love for the first time, and it doesn't work right, and you get left. Man, the heartbreak is intense.
Intense.
And it can lead you to even consider suicide. It's so tragic.
Yeah.
You add to that all those fresh hormones that are going on when you're really young, it can make for a really volatile mix. So what we wanted to talk about is how would we advise you young people to get over a heartbreak? So I'm going to kick it off with Rick. What do you think?
Man, it's such a tough issue. And in my heart of hearts, I know that we can't touch on every situation, everything perfectly, because there's a spectrum in it too.
Right.
You know, who's at fault? Did you know, she leave the guy for his best friend's friend, or was he abusive and not caring and she left him? Now he regrets it.
Well, really, is it even possible to avoid heartbreak growing up in life?
No.
And it's not.
No.
It's not.
You'd have to be a dead man walking.
Well, I think heartbreak is part of, I believe, it's part of your maturity in life. I think it does help. But like you said, unfortunately, there's some young people out there that I think because they don't have the family unit, or because there's no unity in the family, it goes to something really bad. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, I was very heartbroken with my very first girlfriend. Thought this is going to be my wife. And we were together for a long time out of high school. This was during high school and out of high school. Very devastated, but, you know, I had good friends and I had my mom. My dad was really tough dude, like, whatever, get over it, wimp. But my mom was really understanding. So that kind of helped. You know, you still go through the heartbreak, but you know what? As that happened, I don't want to get into this, a long story, but as that happened and I got through it, the way I got through it was through supportive friends who would go out of their way to get me to not lose track of the things that we do together.
Yeah.
You know, that was one. I was very blessed to have 4 guys that in our group that were like, that were really close. And then my mother, never accusing either I'm dumb or I'm wrong, never doing that. It just kind of just always advising me and saying, you know, these are things that happen. That's why it's very important that at a very young age, you're not so quick to jump into a relationship. Get to know what that's about. You know what I'm saying? My mom said, she goes, I remember this, she goes, there's nothing wrong with meeting someone and going out and having fun and doing these things. But when you start going past a certain limit, which for everybody, the limit's differently, like you said, for a girl, if a guy starts being possessive, abusive, that's like, no way, man.
Yeah.
You know, for a guy, I mean, there's girls that are, they have this thing abusive. But it's in a different way. Yeah. You know, there's a way that when you're a young person, and I'll say it, you know, you're a virgin, your girl is like beautiful or to you, and the girl knows because she's more educated than you in this field, especially. She knows that she has a nice guy, and she's going to come from that place where she knows how to take advantage and use and abuse, not physically, but just play with your heart and your mind.
Yeah, what you got your finger on, especially with young people that are kind of early in their experience with love, and making connections, people don't play by the same rules.
Yes.
And what they're in it for could be entirely different than what you're in it for.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some, if you're a guy, there's some girls out there that have just got to get a guy as an accessory.
Yeah.
Like having a nice purse. I just have to have a guy so I have somewhere to go on Friday night, but I'm not really into you. I just want you to play that role. Like they're the manager of a football team and I got to fill in the left guard,
Yeah. That's one thing about the advice, because like if my son had a really good girl and he messed up and an ex-girlfriend called him and he talked to her, now she's hurt, she breaks up with him, I would probably tell my son, hey, hold on, son, don't give up. Go fight for it. You're a man, go fight for it. Go back, tell her you're sorry, make it work, if it was a good girl. If it was the other way around and the girl cheated on him, I would say, son, thank God. I know it hurts. I give you that. But you're better off, because that relationship would never bring you anything good. Yeah. So like there's certain times when I would encourage a guy, this is going to sound bad, but sorry, guys, I don't know how else to put it. Fight for what's yours. It's okay. Maybe even another guy's trying to steal the attention of your girlfriend. Set it straight. Go, fight for what, she's important to you. You love her. You could see her being the mother of your children, and you're going to take care of her. Man, don't give up and walk away, Step in. But other cases, and I would say probably far more than not, they're in with maybe not the right person, a bad person, or someone who jumped into it then realizes, okay, I'm not quite into this the way you are. Then I would tell them, hey, move on. Yeah. But I want to acknowledge the pain, because man, does it hurt.
Oh yeah,
it hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of glossing over
especially
that
when it's like the first time.
It takes, and honestly, it takes a long time to heal.
It feels awful. It does.
It really
calls
does.
into question your own worth.
Yeah.
Like, what am I even living for?
A lot of stuff. I can see how it could go really wrong.
Yeah.
Because I mean, me being heartbroken after, she was my first girlfriend in high school, 7 years. We thought, 4 years in high school and then 3 years after. I really thought that was it for me, but she had other plans, and I don't blame her, because while we were young, she just wasn't ready. But boy, man, that pain is like, I can see how somebody who doesn't have somebody behind them or with them to show them, love them through it, it could go really wrong real easy.
But that's
what is the number one thing that makes it go?
I have an answer to that. I'm curious what your answer is.
My answer for that would be, honestly, I think if you were grounded, if your family, because you're very young at that age, and I know it's tough even if you're a believer, but if your family was grounded in the Lord, I think, and you have a church that you go to and you're a part of, I think that would be something that would really help you get past that.
The question was, what makes it go off the rails? I don't think that's what makes it go off the rails.
Oh, I thought you meant what would...
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
I thought what heals it.
What heals it, that's what I thought.
The thing that makes it go wrong.
Oh.
Fast.
You mean the missing the person or the relationship?
No, when we were saying that some people like commit suicide and stuff like that, and that...
If you're a kid and you're entering into a relationship, what is the number one thing that could lead you to heartbreak?
Oh,
I see.
This is my experience. A guy and girl get together, and one of them realizes, I'm not quite into this, but they were really into it in the beginning.
I think it's sex. If you have sex, that's it. It's gone to another level.
You brought in some complexities.
Because once you cross that line, and you start a physical relationship with somebody, this doesn't work anymore.
No,
this brain disengages, that brain takes over.
Yeah.
But the hard thing about it, it's a slippery slope. we can tell people all day long, hey, don't, and there's a lot of good reasons why not to.
Yeah.
But once they engage in that behavior, man, and they love that person, they have real feelings, it's hard to
how many times
hit the brakes on
I
that.
know me in high school, you'd hear it all the time because obviously, we're a bunch of guys and whatever. But a lot of the guys that we were around would say, yeah, man, the best way to do it is you just tell them that you love them and that's it.
That happens.
And we weren't that type of guy. I was the late bloomer. All these guys were like, sex was a thing, and I was afraid of it actually, because I was taught at home about disease and pregnancy and all that.
Yeah.
So I was really scared of it, But eventually, like I think it was 17 going on 18, and everybody else like at 12, 13, 14 was like already, and so, but yeah, I mean, the minute I loved my girlfriend and I thought my girlfriend was everything, but the minute she allowed that to happen and we had that encounter, it just went to another level, because now it's like, this is mine, man. This is,
Yeah. And I think there's a really interesting reason why that takes on that kind of power. We're Christian men.
Yeah.
We come from that frame of reference. And I believe everything that's written in that book, in the Bible. You go back all the way to the very beginning when Adam and Eve were made, and Eve was made from a rib that came out of Adam's side. Did they ever get married?
No.
No, there was no marriage ceremony. Nothing like we would think of. All they did was sleep with one another. And that's what
was united
caused,
right.
That was marriage.
Yeah.
God's definition of marriage is when you sleep with that person, all the connecting engine starts to spin.
Yeah.
You start trading chemistry. You start trading emotional. Linkages happen all along the path.
Yeah.
And that's what sets up, if you let that happen without your mind being engaged, without knowing what you're doing, you're setting yourself up to be in a situation where you can't manage the tiger you left out of the cage.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to lead you to that heartbreak. Because heartbreak feels like divorce, if you want to put it in modern terminology.
I've been through that as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how was it, the comparison of feeling?
Honestly,
Uh-huh.
let me see if I can explain this correctly, because I have it in my head, but I'm going to say it like this. It's the same thing, but different. The reason why it's different, it's the same heartache, it's the same feelings, but obviously you're older. And me, it happened when I had kids. There's fear and insecurity of, I've never been divorced. I have kids. What am I going to do? It wasn't even about fighting for half and what am I going to get. Had nothing to do with that. I remember that's another incident in my life where I called my mom and it's like, what am I going to do? And I remember being in bed crying, like, I have 3 babies and she left. What am I going to do? But it was, I can honestly tell you, I can remember that it's the same feeling, but yet I was older. And you would think, okay, you know what a heartache is. So now that you're older, you should be able to figure it out. It hurts just as bad.
Yeah.
Now, I've had guys say, well, I didn't love her, so I didn't really care. But I did.
Yeah.
And I had the house and, I wasn't rich or nothing. I worked a union job. I worked hard to have our first home. We had the 3 boys. I mean, that family structure, because I always wanted family. And for it to just 10 years later, it was 10 years later, bam. And it was like, oh my God, dude, but it was awful. It was just as awful.
Yeah, it hurts.
I don't think heartache ever gets easier.
Yeah, but I think you really nailed something too. Family and friends. Don't check out and just be with yourself.
Yeah,
that's the word. Go hang out with your friends, and go talk about stupid things and go joke and go. Yeah. But and even though your heart's not into it at first, just do it,
dude. I remember both incidents when I was younger and when I was older. I remember my friends coming over. And they're like, come on, dude. When I was younger, come on. And they would force me to come on and I'd go, all right. And I was all like, and they're all having fun. They're all nudging me and everything, But even though it was like, but it helped. But check this out. When I was older and I went through that divorce, they came over, 3 of them did, and they're like, come on, let's go do something. I'm like, nah, man. And then they go, you know what? Okay, you two stay here. They talked about something and said, we'll be right back. They brought back meat and all this, and they barbecued in the house.
See, that's cool. That's good friends.
And and then it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does help.
And that to me, that underscores, you build the moment that you're going to enter into a relationship by being an architect. Now, if I was talking to a kid when they're 12 years old, right in the beginning of their adolescence and all that, and they haven't done anything yet, the first thing I would say is, number one, forget about the girls, forget about the opposite sex, build a tribe. And that's what you had.
Yeah,
you
I
had
did.
this tribe.
I had one. There's 6
you had
of
a
us
group of
total.
guys that you came from. They don't all have to be the most spectacular characters, but you have to have that ballast in the boat so you can go out on the sea without flipping over and turning over inside the waves.
Yeah.
And once you have that ballast and you have your tribe, then you can start to move into a relationship with the opposite sex by being friends. Don't try to have a girlfriend, just try to make friends.
And your own friends, they helped with information. Like, I remember there was a girl that I was like, man, she's hot. I really want to, dude, you don't want to get involved with that chick. I heard about this, and that, vice versa. Because we had girls with us in our group in and out, but always us 5, us 6, but girls in and out we hung out with. Oh, I think he's really cute. We're like, man, you don't want to get involved with that dude. So your friends had information that would warn you and say, dude, don't get involved with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to have a group of people.
And it's also a really important sign if you begin a relationship with somebody that wants to start pulling you out of your tribe.
Yeah.
That happens a
They
lot.
want to isolate you, block you away.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll even do that with your family.
Yeah.
I'll keep you away from your parents, keep you away from, because they want to build their world around you.
Yeah.
And even though it might seem flattering at first, that is a bad sign.
Yeah.
Hopefully you got a tribe that can see that.
It's funny you say that because all the guys, we hung out at each other's home. And those times our parents, I don't know how it is now, but it seems like now young people are very isolated. Like they're
more loners.
Yeah. But see, that, and I even talked to my kids about it. I say, even they would tell us, the parents would say, bring your girlfriends. And we would actually be couples, and the moms and the dads would get to know the girls. And because the closer they were, the more ability we had to be open. And if, like, let's say one of my friends had a girlfriend and they were mad at each other. And, his mom said, well, where's Stacy? Oh, I don't know. You guys fighting? Yeah. Call her. No, Mom. And everybody was there, right? He called her and said, tell her to come. And then she came. And, they started, she came and she goes, have her come in the kitchen when she gets here. Because they knew her. We all knew each other. So she took her over there. They started baking cookies and they were talking about something. All of a sudden, we were like, dude, stop being a jerk, man. Come on, cut her. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you had that both sides. And all of a sudden, it's like everything was fine.
Yeah, the tribe heals it from the outside.
But I've learned now that they don't have groups, really. I mean, I may be wrong, but from what I understand,
the same way.
There's not groups like
not
that.
A texting or a chat group, or it isn't the same. But it's funny what happens to those. If you have a group of friends and a breakup happens, it has the potential for torpedoing the friend group. Because now someone's the villains, they're taking sides. Or it even gets worse. If someone in the group they were dating, now one of the people starts dating somebody else in the group, there's another torpedo, man. It just wrecks your friendships.
In an ideal world, a young guy can think about these things before he enters into the game. In an ideal world, I would be a coach and I would say, okay, first you get a tribe. Secondly, you start to just make friends. Third, you think about this. You're at the very beginning of this building romance. There's a lot of other things that are in construction that have nothing to do with relationships are going on inside you. You're deciding what kind of a man I'm going to be, what am I going to do in life. And they're small things too. Like, I'm trying to be the starting pitcher on the baseball team and I got that to work on and plus my homework's due. all this other stuff that's going on along the side.
Right.
What you want to do is you want to target a time towards the end of your teen years, like 18, 19, somewhere in that period of time to start getting serious, to really look serious and allow yourself to risk stepping deeper into a relationship.
Yeah.
Until that time comes, make friends, make many, many, many friends. Get to know lots of different women, lots of different girls. You'll find they're all different types. Mm-hmm. And you can approach any one of them if you're a friend, you know, or gay. You know, that's the other thing. Yeah. But if you want to actually keep your cards open, just be friends. And this kind of goes to another topic you were talking about. How do you even strike up a conversation?
Yeah.
Because it's terrifying.
Yeah.
You know, when you have all the connecting pressure on you, it's terrifying to talk to a girl.
And when you're in a group,
but if you can ratchet that down,
yeah,
to like, let's just talk about, you know, the Spanish club or whatever it's going on in school, and you get to know each other on a friendly basis, man, you will develop chops. You'll develop a diplomatic way of being able to go into any kind of situation and not lose your nerve.
It's an art. It's an art, and it's good to practice that art. How to talk to people, how to open conversations, what to talk about, you know, and you get that way through practice. It's one of those things you're going to have to go through those scared, clumsy
and that's
first
where
encounters.
A tribe helps you even with that. Because there's many times, again, I can tell you story after story. Many times that one of our guys was like, man, I really like her, man. And he's been telling us for months. We're like, dude, just go over there. Yeah. And no, man. Hey, we walk over there and say, he likes you. She's been waiting for him to say that. And then we bring her to the group and then it's like, bam, it's on. You know, I mean, it just helps you to do that. And the other thing I can tell you guys, for those of you who have a tight group of friends, bringing someone into that circle, you'll find out a lot about that person. Because if that person, guy or girl, understands that your group is very important to you, and they're a good person, they're going to want to, they've gained friends. But if they're going to want, like you said, if they're going to want to pull you away, then that's a sign that that's not somebody who socially is all there. I mean, you know, they just want to keep you to themselves. They want to control that. That's not a good thing. Right. You know, and at that age, you should be open to just having fun and saying, yeah, it's cool. I get to know your friends, you know?
Yeah, but what if you drifted in, you went head over heels, and now you're crushed? What are you telling your son? You know?
Yeah, man.
That's how I'm looking at this.
There isn't, I don't think there is.
Well, number one, it's supposed to hurt.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's not really anything.
The degree that it hurts is the mark of the degree that you have love for that person.
Yeah.
So you take the depth of the agony as a mark of honor, because that's what you potentially would have loved her with, the same depth. And that's why it hurts so damn bad.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time to heal. You're not going to forget, but eventually it's going to recede into the past. And if you got a good tribe of guys, you know, you just kind of pour yourself into the guys. You pour yourself into friendships. Don't feel like you got to jump from a hot romance into another hot romance.
Yeah, that's when it's not right.
Yeah, that's when your heart, man, guys that do this, and this happens with women too, that make these relationships and break them, and make it and break it, make it and break it. Their docking mechanism gets shredded. Their ability to actually make a meaningful connection gets so damaged, eventually they can't make a bond. All they can do is draw close to somebody.
Yeah.
But it's insecure, and the slightest thing can break the bond.
Yeah. That's the saying, though. Women mourn and men replace.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's 100% true.
I don't know about that
generally
now.
True. I don't know. I know. I
don't know about that now.
But that's been the more than not, that's been my experience.
You know, and I know I'm going to say something that a lot of young people are like, oh, but it's truth. I mean, and I could tell you that I didn't listen to it, but being at where I'm at now, at my age with my brothers, you know, people would tell me to do things, you know, slowly. Don't jump into a relationship so quick. Especially, you know, if you're a believer, you know, take it to the Lord. You know, just have a good time, no strings attached. Don't get involved in the sexual thing. And I know that it's easier said than done when you're that age because the hormones are going.
Yeah.
You're really thinking about this beautiful girl and or the girls thinking this handsome guy,
And you're sincere in your heart too.
Yeah, and you are.
Even
You're
if you're
sincere.
fooling yourself, you're sincere.
But to be honest, there is a way, I believe, there is a way from keeping you from being brokenhearted. And that is, you don't give your whole self to that. You just don't. You don't look for that marriage type relationship where you're going to share responsibilities. I'm his. I can't go here. That's what a marriage is. You do everything together. You communicate. You sleep together. You have babies. That's not the way courting somebody, dating somebody should be. It should be, and I'm going to say it's probably cheesy, but let's go to Disneyland together and have a great time, and not think about, are we going to make out? Am I going to be able to be with you after that? No. It's about just having fun with the opposite sex.
This is where you guys, if you could only step in that DeLorean and go back to the future into our generation.
Yeah.
We used to have things like the roller rink.
Yeah.
We used to have things that were so non-sexual, just like puts all that aside in a place where you could just have fun.
Yeah.
And not be complicated. And we have to recognize that the world has changed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and we weren't always tied in. You had to use your home phone to talk, so you had a lot of separation.
You had
to walk to her house.
Yeah.
There was a lot of sandbags on the whole process.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
couldn't sprint straight into
But
it.
it doesn't mean that you can't, even in this generation, I don't hate this, but I'm not okay with it because I have kids from this generation. And one of the things that I talk to them about is, if you're going to sit here and say, yeah, but no, man, it's just based, I know that it's very different. There's a lot of pressure, but we had peer pressure too. We have, pressure from you got to be cool. You don't have any chicks yet. You got to have some marks on your belt. Baloney, man. I wasn't one of those playboy types. Like I said, I was a late bloomer. I was afraid, I didn't really care for that. I more wanted to go to the arcade or the roller rink or the movies. And just sitting next to her was like, oh man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That innocent kind of thing.
Yeah.
You could still do that now. I mean, you could do that now.
Yeah.
And even easier, okay, FaceTime her or text her or whatever, but it doesn't have to go sexual. It doesn't have to go, turbo at the very beginning,
Now,
man.
if you got a tribe that they're all doing that, they're all going balls to the walls and, hunt and conquer.
Yeah.
You gotta rethink your tribe.
You slip into that mode, yeah.
That's
Not that you want to, populate your people with Opie and Goober and all the crazy people.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We're understanding the complexity. That's kind
It's
of basically what we're
complex.
saying.
Slow down, guys.
You have things in your environment that we didn't have to deal with, and
But you're going into preventative, which is good.
Yeah.
But the real question is, you're sitting facing that young man with a heartbreak.
Yeah.
well, the number one thing, if you're gonna have the pain, you got to learn from it.
Yeah.
Well,
'Cause
that's
the
it should
value.
be.
You're
The
gonna
value
learn-
is
Yeah.
really break this pain down, break that moment down, and get to know what went wrong. Why did it go wrong?
I just thought of something with what you said. If it hurts that much, which it does, you should learn from it and not let it happen again. Now it doesn't mean that you can control every situation. You'll never be heartbroken, because you can be heartbroken in very many different ways. You can lose someone, things like that. But what I'm saying is that same repetitive situation where somebody just dumps you, or because you were just easy to dump, or because you didn't mean much to them as they meant so much to you. It's discernment, and it hurts so much. It's like when you invest so much into something, doesn't mean it's 100% that it's not going to fail. But even if you fail, you should come out a winner. You shouldn't come out a loser. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of us fail and think we're losers. But actually, it takes a greater, stronger person to fail and get back up, not do the same thing again, but keep moving. And through failure, you can become, it doesn't mean go out there and fail all the time, but when you do, you're not a failure. It's what it takes to be able to do what you got to do in life. It makes you stronger, but you got to be wise. You got to pick that pain apart and say, okay, this hurt me because of this, and this happened to me because of that, but I got to make sure that I don't make those mistakes again.
It's little things like how why did I invest that much?
Yeah.
What was I expecting of her that she couldn't possibly do? What did I blind myself that was obvious now?
Yeah.
You know,
Those things.
because when you're in that after a moment, man, all the fish are flopping on the ocean bed in full view. All the things,
everything comes clear. After, even if it's you or them, everything becomes more clear. Those things your friends told you, it becomes more clear, and you understand.
Right. If you get hurt, stay connected.
I think that's great advice.
Don't go at it alone.
Yeah,
and don't run to put the pain out. Embrace the pain.
Yeah.
The pain is your friend.
Yeah.
Because if you can't stand the pain, then you're going to go get drunk, or you're going to go get another girl, and you're going to do something desperate and probably stupid to try to put the fire out too quick.
In other words, go ahead and curl into a ball in your bed, cry it out.
Yeah.
Then go take a shower.
Right.
Come back. Get some ice cream, watch a movie.
You'll understand half of all the songs ever written in the 50s.
Exactly.
And then go back and cry it out, go back and take another shower, get some popcorn and watch another movie until you're ready to get up. But you know what I'm saying?
Just don't let the sun get you crying.
I got something to say, but I'm coughing. The one thing I would say, though, is this. Time does heal all wounds.
It does.
It to me, that's like the main factor in all of this. You need time. And it sucks. And I wish there was a way to make it go faster.
There isn't.
Time heals all wounds. Time will make you feel better. I love what Frank said, man. Connect to your buddies, connect to your people, your family. And then the other thing is there could be a real opportunity in this, because maybe you've been putting off understanding God. Or knowing who you are in God. And trust me, that's the ultimate relationship you're ever going to have in your life. It's going to affect your children, your marriage, your golden years. It's going to affect the rest of your life. Take this time and say, okay, Lord, I'm focused, and here I am. And use this time to find God in a real, more closer way. And I think that'll be a good thing to come out of it. But time is going to be the thing that heals the wound.
But it leaves you a really bitchin' scar, too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And you'll always remember. I remember a girl, when I was just out of high school, I was I was one of these guys who was way too much in my head all the time.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't really have girlfriends, because I was thinking, where's this going to go?
Yeah.
We're going to kiss, we're going to do this, we're either going to go and jump in the bed, or I'm going to have to marry you.
You already did it in your head.
Yeah, so all that ahead of time, so I wouldn't even start going the first couple steps. But I got out of high school, and my sister was always looking out for me, my little older sister. And so she would always set me up with her friends. And I was just a total dork. I was, had a couple that were like way too fast for me. Didn't know what to do with them, but just turn tail and run. But this one girl, she set up with me. I met her. She was living up in Lancaster, and man, the symphony was in my head. She was just so beautiful and so nice, and just so kind to me, just like beaming that sunshine of love. And I'm thinking, wow, And so I actually left where I was living in the South Bay and moved to Lancaster.
Oh, jeez,
that's crazy.
To the press, it was to develop my career and to find business opportunities and things like that. But it was for a girl. I left my whole life to go and chase this girl.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm up there in Lancaster, and we go on a couple little dates to movies. Nothing big happened there. But I would tell her, I was kind of feeling a little more free. I wrote her a love song, and I played it for her on my guitar.
I already hate you, Chris. You're one of those, huh?
Oh, man. And she just kind of smiled and slowly started to step back. And then she was a little harder to reach the next day on the phone. It didn't take a week before she was incognito. Ghosted. 100% ghosted. And so I knew that, in fact, I found out a week later that she was engaged to be married.
Oh, geez.
A guy that was a lawyer.
No.
I was thinking, wow. It's one thing to break up with a girl. It's another thing to drive her into getting married to somebody else just to get shelter.
You're good.
Just to get safe distance. Well, it all came down to I was staying at my stepfather's house, and I stepped out on the back porch when I really knew that it was over and she was not interested in me, and I just had this looking into the sunset, thinking, well done, young man. Now I've moved away. I have no job. I have no girl. I have no self-esteem.
Wow.
I got nothing. And you could cut that feeling with a knife.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And that feeling cut me like a knife.
Yeah.
But I embraced it. I just sat in there and it's like, how many times in life do you ever get to feel something like this? And believe, I made that quip about understanding all the love songs. The whole catalog. I was a musician. So it all came to life. And I understood everybody that ever tried to throw that feeling into words. It's like, wow, this is what it is to be a human being.
Yeah.
You join the fraternity of brokenhearted. Songs come alive.
Yeah, exactly.
You appreciate things different. You see things different.
And I saw everything that I did wrong and how I just smothered her and just came on so strong. And, but I also realized that, it's one thing, it's a sad thing that you didn't get the girl you wanted, but it could be a worse thing if you get the girl.
That's the truth.
What are you going to do if you catch her?
Yeah.
Because then, you go in there like a pussycat, she's going to get a chair and a whip and it's going to train you into a circus act.
Sometimes a heartache's a blessing. Because you might have been saddled up with the wrong person.
Oh, man.
You're
it's far better to be never married than to be married wrong.
Yeah. And then you get kids come in the picture,
that's a
marriage.
Good point.
Yeah, they might have done you the biggest favor in your entire life. And it doesn't feel like a favor, though. It hurts, but they might have. And it's funny, though, like you're saying, being able to see the fish. Once you separate it and you really look at the relationship, you can sit there and say, wait a minute, why did she do that? She shouldn't have done that. That was really messed up. That was, and in those rose-colored glasses are off, and you kind of see it for what it is.
Well, and to your point, I was so shocked that she was getting married to this guy, and then clink, the tumblers rolled in my head. It's like, oh, she had this going on long before I came along. Yeah. And who knows how many others she was playing.
That's a good point.
Along the way.
Putting her toes in other waters to see. You don't want something like that.
It didn't heal me. Finding out the other person is a jerk doesn't make me feel better.
Yeah.
But it does make me feel like I'm learning something. This is hurting, but I'm learning. And I'm going to do it better the next time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the end of my heartbreak. I had heartbreaks after that.
Yeah. I did too, but it wasn't the same.
The first one was the worst.
The first one was, it was really bad.
I could kind of see that.
I mean, really, really bad.
Yeah.
And I'd stopped eating, showering, depression, all that stuff. After that, I think it was a while after that, I was always the guy that got dumped. I didn't want to dump girls. There was even a girl that I dated and I was like, oh my God, man, I'm over this. I couldn't dump her, man. I didn't want to break her heart.
Yeah.
And I would find ways for somebody to dump, not cheat on them, but just find ways, like not talk to them for a while or something, and they wouldn't dump me, but I was that way. I would take, I would just take it. So I went from being the guy that got dumped and really brokenhearted to the guy that was like, man, I can't dump this girl. That hurts me.
You didn't have the heart to do it.
No, I didn't. But then, eventually it got to the point where what I did was I didn't become hardened. My heart wasn't hardened to where I became a jerk. What I did I got 3 times that happened where I got dumped and it hurt. Not like the first one, but the other 2, they still hurt. Because there was good memories and you remember things and all that. And then I was the type of person that always got introduced to the family. I was trusted to be brought home. Right. And then I hit it off with the dad or the mom.
And then the girlfriend dumps you, but her mom wants to
I had situations where the moms were like, they would tell me, I know you guys are not together anymore, but you could still come over and visit. I'm like, oh my God.
Ouch. But you bring up a really good subject. Sometimes after a heartbreak, people, we're going to kind of stay friends and we're going to, in my mind, one of you two, that's going to kill you.
Oh, yeah.
One, it's going to be fine because they're still getting some of the benefits from the relationship and they could look elsewhere. Right. But there's one person in the relationship who's going to get devastated. I would almost say cut bait and run.
No, you got to cut
to move, because it would torture you too much to see them meet someone else.
I had a friend in the group that, Stacy, They were together for a long time, and then they broke up. And she stood friends with the mom. They'd go shopping and stuff. Mm-hmm. But even though they weren't together no more, I mean, they would say, she'd come over, he's getting ready to go out. And they weren't together no more.
Yeah.
And he'd be, bye, Mom. Act like, well, I mean, not act, but it has nothing to do with her. And she'd be angry.
See?
And then she would cut the whatever plans she had with the mom, forget it. She'd just run out and forget it. It was a mess for a long time after that. But I think it was because she still had hopes that he would come back. But he was like already, ship sailed and it was gone.
This is a revelation. When you get into a relationship, especially the early ones, it's always one person is really into it and the other person kind of just goes along.
Yeah.
Very rare where two people are totally into each other, like Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
And usually if they are, that burns out. It burns out. They get together too fast. They're pregnant before you know it. And they're young and their whole youth is now locked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Yeah.
But it's a romantic to be the one that's all in pursuing. That's fine, but you got to govern yourself. You got to hold yourself back just a little bit.
Guard your heart.
Yeah, guard your heart for 2 reasons.
I was that guy. I didn't. I just went all in.
But if you had, you would have given this other person a chance, an opportunity for her to develop a desire for you.
Yeah.
If you're always on and you're always a pressure towards that person, they never get a chance to develop any feeling of their own.
And that's
they
true.
They always feel like they're pursued. And
that's a really good point because that's what happened to me. I was all in and she knew and it was like, I never gave her the opportunity to miss me, want me, or,
Yeah.
nothing.
Really, what's the saying? How can I miss you if you won't go away?
Sounds like an old country song or something.
You have all the good ones there.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
I think, on this subject, I think, don't be so quick, guys, girls. Look out for the red flags. Like I said, when you bring a friend into a group, if that person doesn't like your friends and you've known your friends for a long time, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Somebody's trying to pull you away from that group that you really love to be. Don't sacrifice the group for this person. I mean, a person that really cares about everything about you, not just, I want you.
Yeah.
So just don't jump in so quick. I don't think, the sex thing changes the whole thing. If I could say, man, sex before marriage, it'll spiral out of control and it just make it's a train wreck.
Now we're losing all of the young guys that are listening to this.
I know.
What world are you living in?
I know.
And that's too bad. I mean, that's an environmental problem. I mean, just look at the pornography that is available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of these young guys are calibrated to have these expectations. Do you think it doesn't hurt your ability to relate to women?
Yeah.
It sets unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
It just changes everything.
And there's
clouds
no
decisions,
censorship, no privacy, none of that.
What I'm prepared to say is if you play it straight the way Frank just described, just keep sex until it's marriage.
Yeah.
As impossible as that seems, you will gain such superpowers. You'll be like Superman.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You'll be a unique male among all your friends. You might be the reason, you might be the one pillar that saves the rest of your tribe. You'll be the wise one they come to.
I went to we went to go eat to a restaurant and a family, and I thought this was ballsy, but I thought it was great. There's a family, right? This kid must have been 21, 22. It was the mom and dad, and I guess it was like the sisters. I don't know if one of them was his girlfriend. I don't know. But on his shirt it said, "I'm still a virgin and proud of it." I thought that was so cool because he stands out.
Yeah.
And it's sad to say that.
Yeah.
That this kid is saying that and promoting it up for himself. And I think that's a cool dude right there. That's an amazing person. I'm not trying to say all of you are bad because you're having sex, but I think I don't have to say or explain what happens with that because all kinds of problems happen.
If you just try relating to somebody without all that noise going on, you might find you can find another human being on the other side.
There's real benefits to doing it God's way. The wisdom in the Bible is complete truth, and it's a great navigator to navigate life. And what you're saying is God's way.
I want to say something to the girls. If I met you and didn't think at all about getting in your pants, getting you in my back seat, whatever, I don't know, whatever you can think of having sex with you. If I didn't even care about that, I didn't think about that, I wasn't interested in that. The only thing I wanted to do is you're beautiful. I want to have fun without any sexual stuff. Just get to know you. That's it. What would you think of me? Would you think, oh, what a wimp, he doesn't want to be with me that way? Or would you love the fact that you don't have that pressure? Because this guy is sincere about, you're just a lot of fun. You're beautiful. I want to laugh with you. I want to go eat with you. That's it. That's all I want to do. Think about that. And there's guys out there. There's guys out there that's how they are. And same thing for the guys. You know, I know that a lot of us think, and I say us because I was young before, is there's so much pressure in having a girl, and then the guys start asking you, you know, have you been with her? Have you had her? You know, in our terms was, did you do her? You know, and then you're like, we would lie. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Guys have been lying about it since 12 years old, and they're all lying. That's the funny part about it.
But the thing is, you know, what if that wasn't a part of that? Just that one thing ruins everything, because don't you just want to go have fun? No stress about, you know, if I don't give him this, I can't keep the guy. But you don't want to keep that guy. You know, if I don't satisfy this girl that way, well, I don't want to feel like I have to satisfy this girl that way, because that's not what I'm into. You know what I'm saying? So just think about it. I mean, if you met a guy, you know, girls, if you met a guy that didn't want anything to do with sex, how would you feel? Yeah,
he'll probably question you, I bet.
Or didn't look at you like, oh man, you're hot, I gotta have that. What is he saying?
If you met a guy that would not only protect his heart, he would protect your
heart.
Would.
Wow.
He would.
He would guard your honor.
That's right. That's what I was going to get to. I was going to tell you. The way that he is being with you is the way he is with himself. So what does that mean? He's 100% secure with himself because he knows he doesn't want that. And what is he going to do? He's not going to treat you like a piece of meat. He's not going to treat you like the other guy. Same thing. It goes both ways. So just wait. Yeah, I know it's hard, and maybe you guys think I'm, you know, whatever, cheesy or corny or whatever, but it's the truth. It's the truth.
It just sounds a bit of a fantasy world, because young men do not have that maturity. They don't have that discipline. I'm not saying it's not in them to have it when they hear someone talk about it, but you know, a lot of them, they need guidelines and safety boundaries in their life to make sure they stay on that straight and narrow. You know, or they really need a man in their life to tell them this and to hear this.
Doesn't it feel like we're trying to give safety driving instructions to a bunch of guys who are out turning donuts? That whole crowd, you know?
One of them will put the brakes on, though.
Stop, let's talk about the importance of the safety belt.
If one of you guys stops doing donuts, we've done our job.
Well,
that's true.
We need to wrap this one up too. But,
all right.
But I just want to close with, well, not for me to, it's for Chris to close, but let me say this. Time will help. I know it hurts. Yeah. We all know it hurts. Time will help. You'll feel better. And use this time to get on your spiritual path and find God. Make good use out of this time. Reconnect with your old friend. Restart up your old hobbies. But stay connected, man.
Yes, I have to stress you guys, stay connected. Yeah. Don't do it alone.
Yeah. Lord, we just lift up every guy and girl that is listening to this podcast that maybe already has history that they wish they didn't have, or they're on the front end looking forward. Father, I just pray that your Holy Spirit would be with them and you put a lamp to their footsteps.
Yes, Lord.
So they know where to go and how to do it. It's impossible for us to think we can step in and replace a dad.
Yeah.
But we are dads, and we care about you, and we're paying to do this for you, to give you a chance to say things that nobody else in your generation will say to you.
Yeah.
So, Lord God, illuminate their way, Father.
Yes.
And in the name of Jesus, bring forth a generation of superheroes.
Yes.
In your holy name.
Amen.
Amen.